Welcome to a brief overview of the Spark Summer Blitz football camp, where we will be looking today at the type of training we are going to do, the development focuses that we are looking for, and how we train the athletes. So first and foremost, our mission is to improve the physical preparedness of our athletes for the rigors of their sport through safe and professional programming and coaching. The first day is the squat day, starting with kettlebells until assessed the athlete can handle the bar correctly and efficiently. Warm-up is a general speed warm-up, and then we build into sprints, about 3 to 4 sprints. Week 3 we'll start bar work for cleans before squats, and after the warm-up accessories we do kettlebell work, isolation, plyometrics, the box jumps of the sort. Some posterior chain, but we usually leave that posterior focus for the deadlift day. Developmental focus is improving the power output and developing a strong base for our athletes. Our second day is our upper body day, not just a bench day. We use military press and dumbbell bench, going up accordingly until we can move into the bench week 5 to instruct proper technique with a straight bar. Our warm-up is foam rolling the legs and back after leg day because they will definitely be sore, especially in the first 3 weeks. Use some lat and shoulder stretching and small amounts of speed work. Accessories, we do tricep isolation, shoulder isolation, and some biceps. Our developmental focus is focused on developing the upper body strength, especially for linemen and ends, while keeping in mind the mobility needed in upper body for skill positions and so forth, such as quarterback who needs the shoulder separation to launch the ball downfield. Our third day is our deadlift day, starting with heavier kettlebells and then moving into the trap bar where feasible, then moving into a straight bar. Our warm-up is a general speed warm-up, banded side steps, duck walks, goblet squats, and T-spines and L-spines. Accessories, we move into a posterior chain focus, especially with the deadlift. We use glute ham raises, reverse hypers, bent over rows, lat pull downs, and grip work. And there are more that I haven't listed, don't worry. And developmental focus is building the posterior chain to allow for better power production and for overall strength and speed. So the average play in football lasts about 5.5 seconds, and the average rest in between lasts about 32 seconds. With this in mind, the conditioning phase of the workouts will focus on explosive fast movements, i.e. a heavy sled for 5-yard spin and sprint, while also adding in our more common movements into the metcons. Weather permitting, some of not most of the metcons may be taken outside for an added effect. Developmental focus is preparing the athletes the rigors of the game by getting the blood pumping, but also not overworking them in a way that the sport does not demand. So the difference in conditioning being, football is an explosive sport, with plays averaging around 5 seconds with rest in between, thus recruiting the anaerobic ATP-PC energy system. Most common football conditioning, 110s, gassers, 300-yard shuttles, take more time and require aerobic energy systems to complete. Therefore, our conditioning is more focused on game-ready conditioning to prepare players for how the game will test them conditioning-wise. Doesn't mean that we won't, for fun sometimes, maybe throw in something like suicides or something just to get a little bit more added effect and get them a little bit more conditioning. We just don't use that all the time. So I'll give an example workout. So say week 3, day 1, when we first add in cleans. So the warm-up starts with high knees and butt kicks, lunges and sprints, and then we go into our pre-lift warm-up, squat holds, hip flexor stretches, and T-spines. Then we get into the meat of the workout. We go to the main lift, which is we start with clean work and front squats. Then we go into accessories such as kettlebell lunges, box jumps, then pistol squats, supersetted with split squats, then finishing off with some core with Russian twists, supersetted with mountain climbers. Then we end with a metcon, our metabolic conditioning, such as the heavy sled push, 5 yards, your spin move, swim, whatever, and then sprint, then kettlebell farmer carries, and then dumbbell thrusters. So to give you an idea of how we run and what plan we follow, I'll show you. So in our first block, we set the tone, we work on stability, and we focus on hypertrophy. So in the first week, in the green week, we start stabilizing, getting used to the movements, benching, deadlift, and squatting. And then the load week, we add weight to what we did on the base week, then we'll deload, and then we'll reload. So on the reload, we try to go above what we did in the load week to try to see improvement in the athletes. Same thing for block 2. We focus on the football conditioning, the strength, and recovery, trying to show them the proper ways of how to recover. Starting with the base squat, base bench, and base deadlift again. Same thing, deloading and then reloading. That way you can see improvement. And then we'll finish off with a last base week of back squats, bench, and deadlift. And then after that, we will max out our squats, cleans, our bench, and our deadlift. Kind of give an idea of how far we've come as a group. Thank you very much for watching, and thanks for the interest in the Spark Summer Blitz football camp.